Welcome to What the English.
Hey everyone, and welcome back to another deep dive. So today we're going to be looking at kind of this idea of, setbacks being stepping stones to something bigger and better. And we're going to be talking about how, we can apply some of these concepts to our own lives too. And at the end, we'll kind of wrap things up with a look at some key vocabulary that I think will help you remember some of the ideas we talk about. Are you ready to jump in?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay, so today we're going to be diving into the story of Lily.
Okay.
And I think it's a really great example of how, sometimes what feels like failure can actually be kind of a hidden blessing. So just imagine you've poured your heart and soul into your lifelong dream. You've worked so hard, you've finally achieved it, but things aren't going the way you planned. That's exactly the situation that Lily found herself in.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so she'd always wanted to be a chef. She went to culinary school, she honed her skills, she did everything she was supposed to do, and she finally reached her goal. She opened her own restaurant.
Yeah, that's amazing.
I know, right? It's so exciting. But unfortunately, things didn't go quite as planned. Business was slow.
Yeah.
And after several months of really struggling, she had to make this heartbreaking decision to close her restaurant.
Oh, gosh. I can't even imagine how difficult that must have been for her.
I know. It's just devastating, to put so much time and energy and passion into something and then to have to just close it down. It's got to be really tough. And, I think she went through a lot of those feelings that we all go through when we face setbacks like that. That feeling of disappointment, feeling like a failure, maybe questioning your abilities.
Yeah, absolutely. It's so easy to get caught up in those negative thoughts.
Right. And she even, thought about giving up on her culinary dreams altogether.
Wow. So she was really ready to just walk away from it all.
Yeah, she was feeling pretty lost and defeated. But then something really interesting happened. So a friend of hers asked her to cater their wedding.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And at first, she was a little hesitant. I mean, who wouldn't be after going through what she went through? But she decided to give it a try.
That's great. Good for her for taking that chance.
I know, right? And you wouldn't believe what happened.
Mm-hmm.
It was a huge success.
Really?
Yeah. Everybody loved the food. They were raving about it.
That's awesome.
And word of mouth spread. And pretty soon she was getting catering requests.
Yeah.
From all over the place.
Wow. So her little side gig turned into something much bigger.
Exactly. And what's even more amazing is that she discovered that she actually loved catering, even more than running a restaurant.
That's really interesting. So it's almost like that setback led her to something she was even more passionate about.
Yeah, absolutely. And, I think there's a really valuable lesson there about how sometimes our passions can manifest in ways that we don't expect. So what do you think? What's kind of the biggest takeaway from Lily's story for you?
Well, I think it really highlights the importance of adaptability. Lily didn't let that initial setback define her. Instead, she used it as an opportunity to reevaluate her goals and discover a new path that ultimately brought her even more success and fulfillment.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. And it's not always easy to do right. It's so much easier to just kind of wallow in that disappointment.
Oh, absolutely. It takes real effort to shift your perspective and see those setbacks as opportunities.
Right, and I think that's a great segue into our vocabulary wrap-up. So remember at the beginning, I mentioned we'd be discussing 4 key terms. Well, the first one is resilience. And we saw that firsthand with Lily. She didn't just give up. She bounced back from that disappointment and even found a new path. So how do you think we can cultivate that kind of resilience in our own lives?
Well, I think one of the most important things is to focus on what you can control. You can't always control what happens to you, but you can control how you react to it. So instead of dwelling on the negative, try to focus on finding solutions and moving forward.
That's a really great point. And I think it also ties into our second term, which is adaptability. Lily had to be adaptable when her restaurant closed. She had to be open to trying something new, and that led her to a whole new level of success. What are some ways that we can be more adaptable in a world that's, constantly changing?
I think it's important to be willing to learn and grow. Don't be afraid to step outside of your comfort zone and try new things. The more skills and knowledge you have, the better equipped you'll be to adapt to whatever challenges come your way.
That's so true. And speaking of challenges, I think Lily's story is a great reminder that even when things are tough, it's important to hold on to our passions. Then it brings us to our third word, passion. For Lily, it was cooking. But for each of us, it might be something different. So how can we tap into our passions, even when we're feeling lost or discouraged?
Well, I think it starts with identifying what truly brings you joy. You know what makes you feel excited and energized. Once you know what that is, make time for it in your life, even if it's just for a few minutes each day.
Yeah, I love that advice, and I think it leads perfectly into our last word, which is perspective. You know, Lily could have easily viewed the closure of her restaurant as a complete failure, but instead she chose to see it as an opportunity for something new and something better. So how can we train ourselves to shift our perspective in challenging situations?
Well, I think it's helpful to practice gratitude. Even in the midst of difficult times, there are always things to be grateful for. And when you focus on those things, it can help you to see the bigger picture and to realize that even though things might be tough right now, they won't always be that way.
That's such a powerful reminder, and I think it's a great note to end on. So listeners, what resonated with you most about Lily's story? Was it her resilience, her adaptability, her passion, or her perspective? I hope that by diving deep into her experience, we've all learned something valuable that we can apply to our own lives. Until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep diving deep.